How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. I worked out this morning, just showered, and yeah.
Nice. Are you getting ready to go? Are you going to the games?
I am not going to the games. Unfortunately, I had a surgery in May, which
Okay.
kind of like trumped the competition season a little bit because that's when semifinals was as well.
Yeah. Is everything okay? Do you mind me asking that?
Yeah, yeah, I have two prosthetic legs, and I just had surgery on the below leg on the bottom of the bone. They took like, what was it, like a centimeter, something like around a centimeter off, just to flatten out the pressure that I put, so I'm not putting pressure on just one point. And so, but that was like right during semifinals, and that was like the soonest we could get it done, and really like one of the only times we could get it done. So,
You had to
yeah.
do it. Yeah. It's
Yep.
interesting when you say centimeter, I'm like, that's just the tiniest amount. I'm shocked it makes such a big difference for you.
Yeah, I think it was a centimeter and a half, and yeah, he told the doctor, the surgeon, he was like, "It's going to, times the surface area, like, on the bottom of that leg by 4, just taking a
Wow.
centimeter and a half off."
Wow.
I know.
So totally worth it in every way.
Absolutely. Yeah, 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 that way I can yeah, that way, because it would get sore, like, putting pressure at the bottom of the leg, and I was wearing my prosthetic wrong to compensate for it, and we were like, "This is cool for, like, short term, but long term, I wanna be wearing my prosthetics right." So,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and you're young, so that's really smart of you. You're not sacrificing your longevity of overall health for like immediate results.
right, yeah, yeah, it's been hard to learn that way, but yeah. Yep.
So you're a little stubborn then.
Yeah, a little bit. If it was up to me, I don't know, I probably would've prolonged that surgery way out.
Yeah, yeah. So let's go back. Have you been an adaptive individual your entire life, or is that something that happened later?
Yeah, so it's been my whole entire life. I was born in Bulgaria, and
Okay.
then I was adopted by my beautiful mom, and I came home at 5.5 years old. The legs I had prosthetic legs in Bulgaria, but they were terrible. Like, I hated them, barely ever wore them. And then I came home to the States and got involved with Shriners Hospitals for Children and started receiving my prosthetic legs from them. And
Mm.
then forward, I was wearing my legs from the moment I got up to the moment I went to bed, like all day, every day, doing all of the activities. I grew up with two brothers. So I spent, most of my childhood just keeping up with my two brothers with football,
Oh,
biking, whatever they were doing. So,
yeah.
yeah.
Amazing. So it didn't hold you back at all in your mind. Did you feel like you were kind of a victim, or did you treat it as if it's a challenge? I'm just different and I got to work different and harder.
Yeah, no, the victim thing was never really not much of a thing. I think a lot of it was, like, my upbringing, like, nobody in my household felt bad for me.
Yeah.
Like, like, it wasn't like, "Oh, we gotta be nice to Alina," because like, it was like, no, like, I got in trouble just the same as my brothers, like, I never got treated differently, and so there wasn't really room for the victim thing, and then second to that, I mean, when I was young especially, my mindset has shifted a little bit, but I was, like, super stubborn when I was young, and if somebody said, like, "Oh, do you think she can do that? I don't know if she can do that." That was just my fuel. I was like, "Now I'm gonna prove them wrong." So that was most of
Yeah.
my mindset growing up.
Yeah, and I'm sure having older brothers push that in you all the time. If they didn't treat you special or different, they were probably like brothers and they were torturous to some degree.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So then there's something you've known your whole life, you've grown up with it, did not slow you down. In fact, it helped your mental mindset. I am much the same way as just have somebody tell me I can't do it, and that's the fuel to make me go, "Oh yeah, watch this." And so
Mhm,
I really love how you use that as your fire.
mhm.
And then
Oh, yeah.
you said you're not that way anymore, or it doesn't fuel you the same way? Now there's like a little different motivation or mindset.
Yeah, the motivation now comes more from a place of I guess more from a place of serving. Like, I want to do the things I do now to show others that, "Hey, like, you can do it too."
Yeah.
So, it's still like I still wanna conquer things, but instead of doing it to prove somebody wrong, now I do it to almost, like, prove, "Hey, you can do it too." So
Yeah.
I think that's how like the mindset has shifted a little bit.
No, it's amazing because you have become a leader. You were the founder of the adaptive athlete within the CrossFit umbrella, more or less, correct?
So yeah, so the adaptive athlete experience, we found that it's a seminar, an adaptive seminar, and I
Mhm.
found it with two other amazing people. I do most of like running the seminar and all the behind the scenes stuff, but they come and they help me, actually do the seminars, and I have like a great like little team. So, but yeah, we found that about a year ago, exactly a year ago on accident. It wasn't even like intentional. What had happened was I had gone through a couple surgeries, and I grew up having prosthetic legs, but and I had started CrossFit, and then 6 months later I was gonna have to have a surgery that would put me in a wheelchair for 6 months. And I remember calling the CrossFit coach and saying, "Hey, I'm not gonna be able to do CrossFit. I'm gonna be in a wheelchair." And that was like the most ridiculous thing that ever came out of my mouth, but it did. And so she was kind of like, you're crazy. We're going to figure this out. Like, you could
Mm.
still come to the gym. And so I did. And it was so cool to figure out, wow, like, you can work out from a wheelchair too. Like, this is so cool. And I was like, how do I tell everybody? How do I share this to everybody? And so that's when I started posting on social media. And then a year ago, we went to a camp in Colorado through Forging Youth Resilience. It's a program that brings fitness to the youth free of charge and empowers them physically and mentally. We go to this camp, and this time I have to bring something to camp. They're like, well, you have to do like a workshop or a clinic. And I was like, well, maybe I'll do a little adaptive clinic workshop. I know a thing or two.
Mhm.
And I do it with the kids there. And two things happened. I had never felt more in my place. And then the second thing that happened was, whoa, people actually care. Like these high school kids were into it. Like, and I was like, what? They're doing one arm burpees and thinking it's cool and thinking it's like the highlight of the week and all this stuff. And I was like, no way, people actually care. And I had never felt more in my place. I had started coaching CrossFit probably 4 months before that. And so coaching, I'd fallen in love with coaching already, but that just made me fall in love even more. And so I came home and I was like, how do I do this all the time? And it didn't even have a name at the time. It was just adaptive clinic. Like, and so then we named it the Adaptive Athlete Experience. We brought it to our home gym, to our local gym. And then since then, I've been able to bring it to about 14 other places. And it's just
Wow.
continuing to go. And it's super, super cool.
That is amazing. And kudos to you. That is amazing work. And I love how you inspired high school kids. That's not always the easiest. And for you to inspire them and them to like really appreciate that, that is amazing, leading from the front and inspiring others, because you're 100% right. We have a girl that works for me, and she has an autoimmune disease, and it's very difficult for her. But when our clients or our staff see her doing CrossFit, it kind of puts them on notice. Like if she can do it, any of you all can do it. I get it. You have a shoulder, you have this knee injury, you had this thing. Like everybody's got something, but it doesn't matter. You can overcome those things with the right mindset, and of course the right group and teachers to show you how to not hurt yourself but get the most out of what you're doing. You just got to be willing to do it.
That's exactly it. And that whole like injury thing is a huge part of where the adaptive athlete experience comes from. We have two different angles of like, hey, if a coach comes and attends our seminar, they will learn the knowledge and tools and be more confident to work with adaptive athletes. But if an actual athlete or a member of a gym attends our seminar, they will hopefully get that perspective shift of, oh, hey, if I injure myself tomorrow, I can be in the gym next week, and kind of get that, out of your head of, oh, I can't go to the gym, my shoulder, my this, whatever. Because what we say is, we'll do, let's say, like the one arm burpees. Whether I break an arm or I lose an arm, I'm still going to have to perform a burpee with one arm and adapt in the gym. The only difference is one is 3 months, the other is the rest of your life. That's really the only difference. But if
Mm.
you still want to attend the gym, no matter what, you're going to have to adapt. So that's kind of where we come from.
Yeah, well, and you brought up an interesting point. If you still want to attend a gym, I think so many people have something like that and they just don't even try it because, well, probably they don't have like CrossFit gyms who are willing to work with them and like, let's modify and let's get you still in here. And I think a lot of people just see it as a big barrier. Like, I don't want to hurt myself worse. I don't want to this or that. And they put up all these walls as to why they can still continue to work out. It almost becomes like this amazing free pass to not have to do that anymore. But as we know, that's not going to get you to longevity, health, wellness, or even good mental well-being if you give up working out because of an injury or illness or something like that.
And it is so easy to find a reason not to work out. Like
Yeah.
this morning, I had to work out at 9 a.m. I got 6 hours of sleep. I'm like, oh, that's not as much sleep as I wanted to. I don't know. Maybe I won't go to the gym. And I'm like, whoa, I went to the gym a week after a surgery and I'm not going to go to the gym because I got like 6 hours of sleep. It is so easy to find, a reason to not show up. I feel like sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. Like I have to, what am I been doing CrossFit 13, 14 years? I still have to talk myself into it a lot of the times because life tells me there's all these other more important things I could be doing, should be doing. You're right. My Whoop will say you're in the red. I'm like, whoa, I don't know. I'm in the red on recovery. Should I be going to the gym? It is
Right.
insane how our brains will try to talk us out of what our bodies truly need and want. And like what I
Hmm.
try to tell our clients is like, there's not been one time that I've regretted going to the gym when I didn't want to. But I can tell you
Hmm.
every single time I didn't go when I knew I should have, I've regretted that.
Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
So how did you find CrossFit? How did that happen for you?
So this is one of my favorite stories because this was also very on accident. Um, I'm in high school. It's my senior year of high school, and I signed up in my last semester. I signed up for a weightlifting class, and then everybody's telling me, "You don't want to do weightlifting. The teacher's so mean. You're gonna fail. Like, you have to like PR by so many pounds, like by the end of the semester. All this stuff." And so I was like, I got scared. I was like, "Oh, okay." Like, and I didn't have to take it. It was just an elective. So I go to my counselor's office and she's not there. So I go to the counselor next door who now helped found the adaptive athlete experience with me and who is literally my best friend. But at the
Oh,
time, I go next door and I'm like, "Hey, I would like to switch my class from weightlifting to yearbook." And she's like, "Okay." She's like, "But like I do a workout program. Would you like to come work out? It's through Fire Forging Youth Resilience." And I was like, "Well, how much is it?" She's like, "It's free." And I'm like, "Oh, if I get to work out for free, I'm in, like, all right, whatever." And
yeah.
so I would go twice a week and work out. Didn't even know it was CrossFit. I was like, "What is this? This is so weird. Like, why is there a clock?" Like, I thought we would just go and lift and do benching and that type of stuff. I
Yeah.
had no idea what CrossFit was, and I thought it was like weird. But I was like, "Hey, it's free. I'm gonna keep going." And then we attended that camp, and I realized then like what CrossFit was, and I was like, "Whoa, this is so cool!" And everybody, I was the only adaptive athlete at camp, and they're like, like there's an adaptive division in CrossFit. There's adaptive athletes in CrossFit. So I come home and I look up Amy Bream, one leg to stand on, and I'm like, "Whoa, no way!" Like, she's awesome. And I'm looking up all these people and seeing all these adaptive athletes, and I'm like, and I've never been interested in the Paralympics,
Yeah.
but this was the first thing that I was like, "Whoa, I would want to compete in this." And it would be on a more fair, field. And I'm like, "This is so cool." So yeah, it was super on accident, just the counselor at the high school, and she's been the biggest mentor ever since. So it's been super cool.
How old are you? So how long ago was that?
I'm 21, so this was in 2023.
Wow, you're a baby. And to have achieved all of this is so inspiring.
It is super super cool, but it's honestly like the guidance like from them like kids my age have dreams. It's not that they don't have dreams. It's I think that they lack people in their circle who believe in the dream and who actually want to fuel it. Lucky for me, I had people in my circle who heard my dream and were like, "Now let's make it happen. What do we do to make it happen?"
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So it became, a big purpose for you. You utilized or what others would perceive as your biggest hurdle, you now made your biggest superpower and your purpose in
yeah.
life.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. It's been so cool to find purpose through it. Because growing up, I never like cared about it. I lived a very like normal life. There was like not much to it. I grew up riding horses. I went to school, had my little friend group. Like, the legs were never a thing, which is like cool, to normalize it. and I never thought in a million years that it would be like that I would my passion would come from it, and so it's been super cool that it has.
Awesome. April's trying to send me a note. It kind of fades in and out when you're talking and you move away from it like this. Your voice will fade out and we're not
Okay.
hearing what you're saying.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just when you move back. So if you can, yeah, just try to stay, I guess, forward and not move around because you're going where I think we're hearing you through your earbuds. So yeah.
Okay, so I won't move back.
Although you just cut out right there too. So
Maybe I should take them
yeah,
out
I'm not
and
sure.
use the phone audio, use the phone mic.
Uh, okay. Are you able to try that real quick?
Yeah, I can. Let me see.
We just don't want to lose any of this valuable information.
Okay, so now I'm on the phone mic. How does
Ooh. Yeah, that sounds way better.
sounds way better?
Yeah, it sounds clearer, and I don't think it's going to cut out. Yeah,
Okay,
you could
super, super
fix
cool.
your camera down so we can see more of your face. Yeah, we like to see that
Yes.
shirt.
I'm just trying to put these AirPods back in their case. So
Yes, or
okay.
else they'll keep trying to connect. I get it.
Yeah, because they will keep trying to connect.
Yeah, which is super annoying. Yeah.
So noted
Okay.
AirPods. I won't use these for podcasts.
Yeah. Good idea. Yeah, this is much better. Well, we'll see. We're just starting out, but so far it's better. Absolutely.
Awesome.
Okay. We're good, April? Okay. We're good to go again. What is your favorite CrossFit movement?
I have two. It would either be handstand walks or toes to bar. Those I always say those two movements make me look like I'm good at CrossFit.
Ah, well, absolutely for sure on the handstand walks. I cannot handstand walk for anything. I tried it a couple of times. It made me kind of feel disoriented. And I'm like, not for me. I mean, luckily there's plenty of other things I could do, but that is absolutely amazing. You can do that.
That's the coolest thing about CrossFit though is if a movement isn't for you, there's so many variations and modifications of a movement where you can still get a similar stimulus of it. And I think it's so cool.
Absolutely. And you don't have to force it. It's like, oh, like a muscle up. I kind of gave up on those around year 4 or 5. Maybe that's on me. But it was like, it was just one of those movements. I was never a gymnast. I could just never get it to click. And rather than taking the L's all the time, I said, that's all right. I am going to modify. And in fact, that's something that when I did my L1, they really impressed on us is if you can't do it, modify it. And that for me was almost like a big ego check because, it's like, whoa, no, 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 I can try it. I can do it. And then it's like, okay, but maybe you can't. And so you can still do it, but do it in a modification instead of all or nothing kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's the coolest thing. Because then now you get a bigger demographic in CrossFit. You have your adaptive athletes, your older individuals, and it's so cool that everyone can do it.
Oh yeah, it was funny. If several years ago, someone said, "Oh, you're masters," and I was like almost offended, like you're calling me old. My ego got in the way, and now I'm like, "Woo, I'm masters. I don't have to do as much as you to get an RX." So there you go. I'm kind of more like leaning into it, but it used to be sort of an ego thing for me. Again, this is just working through bodies and mindset and all that for my whole life. It's always like an up and down for me.
So what's your favorite CrossFit movement?
Power cleans.
Power cleans. Okay. I do like cleans. They're pretty fun. I like the like quick elbows part of it. It's pretty fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And it's an interesting one to teach people because it's not normal and so I mean not normal, but it's a technical lift.
Mhm.
But it's so fun and when it kind of clicks for people, I love seeing how they're able to get under it, they get the elbows up. Elbows up is the hardest thing trying to teach people because people just want their natural is like this. So just trying to get that elbow up, part of it's flexibility, but it's an unusual movement for a lot of people.
And but then it goes into like the front squat and stuff like that. So it's important that people can be able to do it. So
Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely.
How's deadlift for you? Do you like deadlifting?
I do like deadlifting. So deadlift is a movement in the seminar, because it's very functional. It's picking something up off the ground, and anybody should be able to do it. So I have a couple different ways to do it. When I'm wearing both of my prosthetics, I raise the bar up on two crash pads, so it's just a little bit higher. That
Mhm.
way I don't get that round in my back, and I lift from there. Or I also can lift from my knees as well. And I've done a ton of seated deadlifts. So I do like three different ways of deadlifting. And it's pretty cool. All of them, like all three ways, I always say gets the job done, gets the object off the ground, gets it done safely, gets it done efficiently, and then uses most of the similar muscles to get it done as well. Even when I'm sitting, my glutes are still working to lift that bar, to lift
Oh
those.
yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Do you feel like and that's amazing. I was just as you were saying that, I was trying to picture a sitting deadlift. Like I was like, how would I do that? That's what I was just going through my head on. You'll have to demo that for me sometime so I can see how to do it and try it out for sure.
Yeah. I sit on a bench and just, yeah, and I'll have two dumbbells and I'll just hinge forward and pick up.
Ah, very
So
nice. Which is all abs. I mean, I love that. There's your core right there. That's all core strength too.
a lot of core. That's a huge thing I say when I'm doing my adaptive seminars is watch how much core you're going to use. And a lot of people say it like, wow, I had to use a lot of my core to do these movements because you're compensating for a loss of a limb here, a loss of something here, loss of function here. And so now your core's got to work even harder to stabilize for the movement. So
Yeah.
it's pretty.
Yeah, I had a back injury after I had my daughter. Something threw out in my back, and I was in chiropractors like 3 times a week for years. All the different things, all the reasons to not work out, and I wasn't like already working out, so it wasn't like, oh, I can't work out anymore. I just continued to not work out. But then I'm going to chiropractors and this and x-rays, and oh, I can't do that, it hurts my back. And then when I started CrossFit, every workout my back would hurt, but I kind of stayed light and I stayed with it. And it was after a couple of years of CrossFit when my core finally got stable enough and strong enough that I started going to the chiropractor less and less. And now I haven't been to the chiropractor in probably 5 years because and it's not like the injury went away, but the core became so good
Mm-hmm.
that it protects your back, it protects your front, it protects everything that you're doing. Is if you have this tight core, it translates almost into everything.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, absolutely. That's like in the L1 when they say these movements are supposed to go from core to extremity. It's that idea. And yeah, I mean it's also like when people have knee injuries, like a huge thing because I tore my meniscus and I went to physical therapy for my knee, and their biggest thing was building all of the muscles around the knee, around that joint. Same thing with your shoulders, like same thing just with all your joints. If you can have strong muscles surrounding them, you're less prone to injury.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, another one of my old injuries, the only time I ever broke a bone is I had a fractured wrist when I was a teenager from roller skating, maybe preteen. Uh, yeah. And so, your wrist you don't think about, and it's my left hand. And sure enough, I had to wear wrist straps like my first several years because we don't realize there's muscles in these joints and this area. And same thing, like I wore the wrist straps and then I started like, oh, let me try it without. And then I was like, it was just another muscle that I had to build up that now I don't need those extra things in order to protect it or feel strong or any of those things. I just had to build up wrist muscle.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly it. Yeah, that's my biggest thing is like with like so I've had three surgeries in the last year and a half. One was like from the injury of my meniscus, and then my bone was a little crooked, so I had to straighten it. And then in the beginning of the cause, I told you, the bottom of the bone, taking a centimeter and a half off of that. And my biggest thing has been trying my hardest to keep that leg strong, like when I'm not walking, and then like even when I am walking, because it correlates into everything, and especially if your muscles in your leg aren't strong when you're walking, then you're going to be maybe a little crooked. And then that's where it gets your back, or your hip flexors are going to work too hard, or whatever it may be. And then, things get tight. And so, yeah, I mean, people always make jokes like, do you hit leg day? And I'm like, all the time. Like, I've got to keep my legs strong to be able to walk on 2 prosthetics. Of course, like, yes.
That's funny. You don't take offense to that at all.
No, not at all. I mean,
It's
it's
funny, huh?
like hard to people just try to be funny, but
Yeah.
there's guys when with my answer, I'm like, yes, all the time.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah, well, and I'll just give one more example. It's not about me, but just letting our viewers understand, we all have limitations of some degree. And for me, when I started CrossFit, my heart was a big limitation. I have like heart block and I couldn't catch my breath and my cardio was bad. And all the reasons why I probably shouldn't be working out, but I luckily did it anyway. And then I realized even the heart and endurance, it's just another muscle that you have to grow and build. And you can. It's just like any other muscle in your body. It's not like this is my heart. I was born with it. It's as good as it gets. It's like, no, you can actually make your heart stronger by working out, by, doing some cardio, doing some endurance, staying consistent. It's just another muscle in the body that with proper and consistent like work, you can make it stronger as well.
Same goes with the mind,
Yeah.
I, at first, man, I don't know if I can do this, kind of hard. And then all of a sudden you keep showing up and your mind, you're mentally stronger, mentally tougher. You're like, wow, like I can do hard things in these 4 walls. Now maybe I can go out and do hard things outside of these 4 walls. And so it's really cool to see the mental strength be built. And especially I just recently started coaching adaptive athletes. And
Mm.
I've even seen it show up in my adaptive athletes, where at first they're very, very like, I don't belong here. Should I be here? Type thing. And then, now we've been months in and their energy when coming into the gym is so, so different now. And it's super, super cool. Like I had an athlete in a chair. And when I first told him, like, so today we're going to do transfers where you're going to get out of your chair to a box and then back into your chair because that is so functional. That's what you have to do all day.
Mm.
That's legit like getting into the car, getting into your bed, onto the toilet. No wheelchair, nobody in a wheelchair is in their chair 24/7. It's just not how it works.
Yeah.
And so that's a huge thing that I try to get on, in my adaptive classes is let's work on these transfers, especially if they need work. And in this particular individual, he was super like nervous about it at first. And he was like, I can only do one. Like I can only do one every like 5 minutes. And now we just had a workout, probably I think it was 2 weeks ago. He did like 3 of them in a minute.
Ah,
And
amazing.
I think in less than a minute, it was like 45 seconds. And I'm like, it's so cool to see, like, a couple months ago, like just the difference of just that alone. It was so, so cool. And that tells me that life outside of those 4 walls is better for him. And that's just my goal is, what we do in that gym for it to, better that daily living outside of the gym. And that right there showed me that it does. And I was like, this is awesome.
Heck yeah. Would you say that is the biggest deterrent or why people like drop out is the mindset? It's the I can't, it's hard, all the things that go with it. Would you say that's what probably holds people back more than physical limitations?
1000%. Because there's proof that a physical limitation shouldn't hold you back. You know, proof would be me being in the gym. Proof would be him being in the gym. Proof would be all of these games athletes being in the gym. So the biggest is like that mental part and like the idea of having to be uncomfortable. And I mean, it's scary at first. Like, hey, I might be the only adaptive athlete in this class and there's going to be 10 other able-bodied athletes in this class. And I mean, that's always not the greatest feeling of, well, I don't want all the attention. I don't want to be the different one. And and so I think that plays a huge factor. And also just how people talk about disability of, people will say, I was actually thinking about this earlier this morning when I was eating my breakfast of, this is Kelly and she suffers from XYZ. And this is Elina and she suffers from not having legs. And it's like, I don't suffer. None of these other adaptive athletes need to be suffering. I mean, yesterday I was at a gas station and the guy at the gas station who was checking me out, he was like, it could be worse. And I was like, yeah, it could be worse. You're not wrong. And a lot of it, I think is like just kind of like the way people talk about it and view it, which is changing and getting better. But
Yeah.
I mean, it really sticks. And so if adaptive athletes could figure out like, hey, like you don't have to suffer. You're not suffering. Like you can go be an adaptive athlete. You can go, I mean, work on your fitness and be the best version of you, the best fit version of you. So yeah.
I love that. And I know for a fact that's why the ladies over at CrossFit connected the two of us, because that's exactly what we do in the rehab, right? It's like you don't have to be defined by this thing that you were or you are. You can still be a kick-ass individual. You could put fitness in your life. Now you have this new almost like persona and mindset, and you're not the victim of something that was created either by you or to you in your life. You can overcome and achieve anything. It's not a setback. It's a tool to be even better than before.
Mhm. Absolutely. Yeah. So that's like, yeah, that's my biggest thing is like get the this person suffers from out of your mouth. This is
Yep.
Billy and he suffers from a spinal cord injury. Like Billy does not suffer from a spinal cord injury. Billy happens to be in a wheelchair because of his spinal cord injury, but Billy can also go play wheelchair basketball and Billy can also, like do all these things. So, yeah.
Do you feel like society almost because of the sympathy and, oh, you poor thing, and the victimhood, it kind of keeps people in that mindset? Like they literally have to find somebody who says, bullshit, that's not true. Or
Mhm.
at least they have to find that mindset themselves, because I feel like society would happily let them be a victim of whatever for the rest of their life if you allow it. There's enough people that feel sorry for you and allow that suffering that would keep people in that position.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why like I am so so grateful that I grew up with a single mom who first I got to watch us be like an independent woman. So that obviously carried on to me of, hey, I'm a woman, I'm independent. And then following the legs part of she never ever like there was never like a I feel sorry, I feel bad. Like it was you have to have surgery? Okay, we're going to have surgery. Like you better be walking again, 2 months after. Like it was just like it was always like that. And so there was no room for victim anything. And so it's been super, super cool. But a lot of people do have are surrounded with that victim and it's unfortunate. So but I think CrossFit coaches and I hope that like my social media and things like that can help get them out of that where there's somebody who believes in them who's like, hey, like no, you still can do these things. Like I don't feel necessarily sorry for you. And so, and I mean, I've never had a CrossFit coach that felt sorry for me or anything like that. So that's the goal with the seminar is to just equip. But I have had coaches who just, and I think another thing that turns away people from the gym is, I don't know how to work with you. Oh my gosh, you're in a wheelchair.
Mm.
You're missing an
Mhm.
arm. I don't know how to work with you. And that's also what I'm trying to do with the seminar is get coaches confident. And I don't ever, want an adaptive athlete to go into a gym, take that huge step of courage, and then a coach be like, I don't know how to work with you. I've never worked with somebody with a spinal cord injury. What even is that? Or something like that. And then, and that's a really like a big turnoff. And so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, well, and you're right, because there is, and speaking, from a coach, I'll have clients come in and same thing, like I got this injury, that injury, and I don't feel educated enough to find like a good I mean, I do. I'll figure it out. Okay, you can't do this. Do front squats instead of overhead. I'll figure it out. But it's definitely not my specialty. And because for me, like the last thing in the world I want to do is make someone's condition worse when they're in there trying to be better. And so I can see there is a huge lack of knowledge that a lot of coaches, I mean, in CrossFit, but all over the place would have that could deter people from wanting to go in and get the help or support that they will thrive in.
Sure, absolutely. And where we come from in the seminar, we have four different movements. We've got the deadlift, which I'd already mentioned, which is picking something up off the ground. As long, and, I mean, the two bit, what's the most important thing about the deadlift? Like keeping it safe with all the movements, keeping them safe and efficient. To keep a deadlift safe, you need to brace your core and you need to keep the object that you're lifting close to you,
Mhm.
you know. And then we got the burpee.
That's it. It makes it sound so simple.
It really does. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, for a wheelchair user, they might be doing a side bend. So it might not be the traditional hinge, right? When somebody able body is going to lift, they're going to hinge forward, pick up the
Mhm.
object, hinge back. For them, they might grab their chair, side bend, pick up the object, come back up. As long as the object is close, as long as their core is braced, same thing applies. It's a safe movement, and it's their way of being functional. And with the burpee, we have the burpee. Same idea of get to the ground, get back up. It might look different than how somebody else does it. Somebody might perform with all four limbs, will perform a burpee, and somebody missing an arm. But that's okay. If they can get to the ground and back up, that's important, because if you fall, you got to get back up. Especially a wheelchair user, they fall out of their chair. Getting back in their chair is important. And we mentioned earlier the transfer part of getting to the bed, to the couch, to the toilet, to the whatever. And then we've got shoulder to overhead, putting something over your head safely and efficiently. I mean, there's two important things here, that are biggest is bracing that core, being stable with that object overhead, and then having an active shoulder. So whether I'm doing it with that one shoulder I might have, that one arm I might have, whether I'm doing it with one leg in a wheelchair, whatever it may be, super important. And then this one's like random, but we've got the jump rope, because I think too,
Oh,
when I started CrossFit, I didn't realize the adaptive equipment that's out there, like what all exists out there that I could have access to, that I could have my hands on. I had no idea when I first started CrossFit. So if they were jump roping, I was always on the bike, because I can't really
mm,
jump that well with two prosthetic legs. And so it was until like way later that I realized equip products exist, and that they make all of this adaptive equipment and all of these adaptive jump ropes. So that's the reason why we added that in, to show people like, hey, like this is out there, this exists. You can jump rope with one arm, the mono rope. You can do the multi ropes in a wheelchair. All of this stuff. So it's I think a lot of that is just like the lack of knowledge of knowing it's out there. I think
yeah,
social media has helped huge though. And that's the only reason why I've gotten on social media, because I'm not the biggest fan of social media. I think it can be a great place to be, but a terrible place to be sometimes.
yep,
And so, but that's what I've tried to do on my social media, is raise awareness, is show people, like when you mentioned earlier, you'll have to demonstrate how to do that seated deadlift. I'm sure you could find it on my social media. There's a video of me doing it. And like
yeah,
that's the idea, is to have, access to this knowledge, to what I've learned and to what's out there, to hopefully help people where they're not in the same boat where I was when I first started CrossFit, where I absolutely didn't know anything. And I was trying my hardest to look like everybody else, doing all the movements, trying to mimic everybody else. And Amy Bream, one leg to stand on, was like, whoa. She was like, your first thing, stop trying to mimic others. She's like, your burpee's not gonna look the same as everybody else. And that's okay. Like, and I was like, wow, that's true. Like a burpee's just getting to the ground and back up. Why does it have to look just like somebody with all four limbs? It doesn't.
yeah. Oh, that's amazing. And I have to say, I kind of feel a little put on notice because I hate jump roping. And I'm like, I can't do it. It makes me pee. And so I avoid the jump rope at all
Yeah.
costs. So and now I'm like feeling like, damn, dude, I've been being kind of a baby about this. Maybe I should push myself on the jump rope a little more.
I mean, it's the constantly varied part of it. And that's kind of what CrossFit, their biggest thing is like, do the stuff you're bad at, do the stuff you hate.
Yep.
My
Yeah.
little brother, he's just started doing CrossFit with me, and he's 13. And he, if there's rowing in the workout, he's like, I don't want to go. I don't want to do rowing. I'm not good at it. I'll do biking instead. I've been trying to tell him, like, dude, row. Like, you have to. That's what you're bad at. You're great at biking. Like,
Yeah.
you've got to do the stuff you're bad at.
You got to. Yeah, I was the same way for the first few years. I cherry picked. I'd look at the thing and I'm like, oh, there's a lot of running, or oh, there's a lot of cardio. I'm going to skip today and hope that tomorrow we have lifting or something like that. And I
Mhm.
totally cherry picked up what I was good at, which was lifting, and avoided all the cardio. And then, maybe 5 years into it, that's where, enough coaches were like, work your weaknesses, do the things you don't want to do. That's how you're going to get better. You don't just go all in on what you love. I mean, you can, but that's the beauty of CrossFit, is it's the functional part. And so I really started going more in on those cardio and endurance days. And now, like, I don't even look at the workout before I go in. I'm like, I don't want to have a preconceived anything. I just go
Yeah.
in, and whatever the workout is, that is what I'm doing, regardless. And that can be hard for people too.
Mhm. I know. I always look at because I coach, I look at the workout, but um, I love the people at my gym that don't look at the workout, because they're the most consistent.
Yeah.
Truly the most consistent, because they're gonna be there no matter what
Yeah.
shows up. And I absolutely love that.
Are you really good at the gymnastics part of it, like the upper body and the bars and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, a little bit. So kipping is kind of weird. I can kip very well for like kipping pull-ups and toes to bar. But when it comes to the bigger kips for like muscle ups, I have a hard time. So I can get on the rings and do a strict ring muscle up, but I can't
Wow.
get on a bar and do a muscle up there because the bar is in the way. You gotta like get around the bar and kip. I have not
Yeah.
figured that out yet. But as far as like handstand push-ups, toes to bar, handstand walks, that part of gymnastics, totally. Even like the body weight, just pull-ups and push-ups.
Yeah.
Totally cool with all of those. Those are definitely all my strong suits. But yeah, it's really the one that I'm like have such a hard time with is that bar muscle up. And I think like I just can't figure out like getting the legs to pop like that to get me over the bar.
Yeah. Yeah, it is tricky and it is all technique. Like it's not
Mm-hmm.
always about strength. Like that sometimes is completely secondary to just really good technique.
Sure,
Y-
sure, sure. And I
Yeah,
mean,
like I watch those butterfly kipping pull-ups and I just cannot translate my brain to that motion. Like I cannot for the life of
mhm,
me make it connect whatsoever. And I know I have the strength, but I just like mentally cannot get my body kinesiologically to do what it is I want we should do for that movement.
it's so weird. But then there's gymnastic movements where I have to do strict, like a kipping handstand push up. I can't kip like that. I can't bring my legs down like that and pop them up. Like
Mm.
my legs just don't move like that. So for handstand push ups, I'm always stuck doing the strict handstand push up. So I built like a lot of strict strength, overhead like that because of that. So yeah, so the kipping part for some of the gymnastics movements is difficult.
Yeah, but at the same time, I feel like you're light years ahead because of that reason. Like it took me forever to learn the kip. And then once I learned how to kip, I could no longer strict. And I still can't strict. Like I can't even get one strict pull-up, but I could do multiple kipping pull-ups,
Mm-hmm.
no problem. And it's again, it's that like learning your body, knowing your own raw strength, that sort of thing, and not relying on the little tricks like a kip and things like that. You have like the raw strength and know how to engage your muscles in a way to create that, which I feel like is almost even better.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, obviously, like my volume is lower, right? You can do, you can do way more kipping something than you probably can do strict of something. So sometimes especially for handstand push-ups, like if there's 30 kipping handstand push-ups, I'm gonna do 15 strict, you know. And so
Mhm.
sometimes my volume is lower because of that. But yeah, it's that. But also like 15 strict handstand push-ups is kind of good. And so
Right.
yeah, like so having that strict strength to do that is also, yeah, pretty cool. So I think you are right. And I think having that strict strength before you learn the kipping gymnastic movements is pretty important too. Especially like if you can't, I mean, I think it's important to be able to do at least a couple strict pull-ups before you even learn how to do a kipping pull-up. Because you're right. Once you can do the kipping pull-up, you're not gonna want to go back.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's why it's important to keep working them. When I did my CrossFit L1, we did, I think it's Fran, where you do the thrusters and pull-ups.
Oh my.
And he told us, and he was a level 3, um, strict only. I don't want you guys kipping. And I had just gotten like pull-ups first time ever. And I was like kipping and my ego would not listen to him. So I got up on that bar and I'm trying to kip and he's like, nope, go get a band, you do strict. And my ego just took like the biggest hit. But it was really trying to teach me to set that aside and go back to, yeah, you got your kipping. Now let's go back and work on that strict part, which is learning how to engage your muscles and do the things and the strength to just do a strict pull up, which mentally I wasn't at that place to want to do that. And I got real upset. But I know he was just trying to help me. And it was a great tool for teaching because now I utilize that as well.
I think you bring up a great point though of sometimes having to go back to the basics.
Mm,
Sometimes you think you get so good and so far, and then it's like, and then you just your points of performance start to go down. You start to like, oh wow, like, it's the ego part of I'm lifting so heavy, but whoa, hold up, like my back is hurting. I'm not lifting this well. I'm not lifting this right. The bar's getting away from me. I'm not bracing my core. And like, okay, let's strip the weight. let's go to an empty bar and let's go back to the basics again of doing a deadlift or a snatch, any of the movements. And I think it's so important. I don't think people do it enough. I don't even think I do it enough. I know for gymnastic movements though, like for the ring muscle ups, I if I don't do them consistently, I'll lose them. And so if all
Mm.
of a sudden if 6 months go by and I haven't gotten on the rings, all of a sudden I can't do a ring muscle up. So for a couple weeks, I have to go back to the basic of putting a band underneath me to get me up on the rings. And then once I do that, once I go back to that for some time, then I can do it again. And it's so humbling.
It is so humbling. And I think a lot of people don't uh they don't want to go through that. They don't want to go backwards in order to go forwards. I see that a lot with people who are hurt. And I used to be able to do this. And I'm like, okay, well, we'll get you back there. But mentally they still want to be there and they don't want to go back and build it back up again. They, they want the instant quick gratification or, where I was. And so I think a lot of people will end up quitting because of that, all because of the ego or not wanting to go backwards in order to go forwards.
Absolutely. Can I ask, when did you get your L1?
Oh man. So probably 6, 7 years ago.
Okay, super, super cool.
Yeah, I think 6 years ago. Yeah. Yeah, which I didn't know I was gonna do it, but being the owner of the gym, I had to do it. And I am so glad I did it. I wish I had done it like within like my second year of doing CrossFit because the knowledge of the movements, the body, the history behind it, why it's here, the quick twitch, all the different things was so amazing for me to learn. Like the knowledge is invaluable. I think everybody who's a CrossFitter should do at least the L1.
I absolutely agree. I 100% agree. Whether or not you want to coach, whether or not you want to own a gym, I mean, when I did the L1, it was just like learning how to move better. And like,
Yeah.
I couldn't believe how I deadlifted before the L1 compared to how I deadlift now and how much of my back I used and how much I rounded my back. And I didn't realize the brace, the core concept or
Mhm.
any of that stuff. So, and I mean, that's just, and that was an athlete thing that, a lot of athletes could absolutely benefit from. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Yeah. CrossFit's pretty fucking brilliant. Like really at the end of the day, like Glassman created something that is truly knowledgeable in so many areas. And the thing that I love about it is the functional fitness. When you can explain it to people like, look, you're always going to have to pick up groceries. You're going to have to bend over and grab this. What if, and I love using this analogy. What if you're in a zombie apocalypse and you got to throw your partner over your shoulder and run? You want to be able to do that. So let's work on all these different things, not just making you a fast runner, not just making you a super strong lifter. Like, let's
Mhm.
work on all the things so that you're overall prepared for anything that comes at you in life.
Absolutely. When people ask me, when they're like, why do you do CrossFit? I'm like, so I can get off the toilet at 80 years old. That goal is to get off the toilet at 80, 85, 90 years old.
Yeah.
So I truly do think like if I continue doing CrossFit and, just continue trying to be as fit as I can, I mean, it'll set you up for that success, to be able to do the things that get harder as you grow older.
Yeah. How much is diet a part of your life? Like what you eat and what you put to fuel your body with?
Yeah, I wish it was better. Um, I right now I have like this mindset of, well, I'm 21 years old, I can get away with whatever,
It's true. You got a fast metabolism. Enjoy it while you can.
in the diet realm. But I've also taken time to learn as well. And I steer away from fast food most of the time. It's never ever really my go-to. My only go-to is Chick-fil-A, and that's because I can get grilled chicken sandwiches, I can get grilled nuggets, and I sure they might not put the best stuff in it, probably, I don't know, but I do know that I get, macros wise, pretty good macros. I get a lot of protein or, whatever it is I'm looking for. So, but on a like my breakfast, I think, is the best because it's super consistent. It's either like a bagel and peanut butter or yogurt and fruit or eggs, like super, super consistent. And lately, what I've been doing is a big thing is like I also need to take the time to really, really learn how to cook. Like I hate to admit it, not
Oh,
out there. And I think if I could take the time to really learn that, it would be so much better. So I'll coach till like 7:30 at night. I come home. We have like little bags of rice, like the 90-second put in the microwave bag of rice. I'll do that. I'll make me some eggs and then I'll put avocado and salsa in that and make me like a little rice, egg, avocado salsa bowl. And I've been doing
Mm.
that for like, gosh, probably a month straight now.
It's just
So
quick and it's easy and it checks all the boxes. Yeah.
it does check all the boxes of like, okay, I want my carbs from the, from the rice. I want my fat from the avocado, my protein from the eggs, and then the salsa just adds. I mean, it doesn't really add much. It just adds good flavor, really. You
Yeah.
can't really go wrong with salsa. So, yeah. What about you?
Oh man, I've done probably every diet under the sun, moon, and stars, but right now I have to say I'm on my favorite one, and it's not even a diet; it's a lifestyle, carnivore.
I
It's mostly meat, all protein, some dairy, tiny bit of fruit, no vegetables, and I'm
mhm.
like, wow, this diet was made for me because I did keto for probably 15 years or at least 10 years. And I would eat an arugula salad. Ate some vegetables. But then when everybody started talking about, and this has come out recently, how vegetables don't want to be eaten and they put off
Yeah.
like this little like chemical, and that's what causes the inflammation. I mean, it just all lined up for me. I'm like, great. I will just have bacon, strawberries, and Greek yogurt. And what an amazing meal that was. Or I eat a lot of steak as well. But for me, this is like the perfect diet for me. And it's able to help me sustain my lifestyle because at my age, metabolism starts slowing down. So I also intermittent fast. So I only eat one meal a day.
Hmm.
And that's plenty for me. That's keeps me where I'm at, which makes me realize how much I overate for so many years. But one really good meal a day, a lot of protein, some dairy, a little bit of fruit, and I am good to go.
So, do you yeah, so two things. I always say if I only like if like something happened you could only eat like two things the rest of your life, for me it would be meat and fruit. I could live off of meat and fruit the rest of my life, and those are my two favorite things. So I'm
Yeah.
with you. Second to that though, how do you feel? Do you feel better? Do you feel great only eating first like the intermittent fasting part of it, but then also what you're eating during that time, which sounds to be, pretty good, which is what I wish I did every day.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's fantastic and I love it. And because I only eat one meal a day, I make it count. I mean, I do eat sourdough too. Like once I learned there was no gluten in sourdough and I saw all the crap they would put in the quote unquote special keto bread, which is what I ate for years.
Hmm.
I will definitely throw sourdough in there. But because it's just one meal a day, I'm like, okay, whether it's lunch or dinner or sometime in between, I can spend a good half hour making myself a good meal and eating it one time a day. So I make it count. I make it special, none of the oils. Like I don't even eat, I don't even like to eat out anymore because of all the knowledge that's come out about the
Oh my
you know,
goodness, all
oh
seed
my
oil.
God, the oils and obviously the stuff that they put in all the sauces, the sugar, the here, the there. So I like to be like really mindful and in control of what I'm putting in my body. And I feel great. I feel lighter. I feel great. Leaves room for water. If I start feeling a little hungry, I chug water, which is what I should be doing anyway, or coffee. And yeah, I love it. I mean, I do like the stevia chocolates because I do have a huge sweet tooth. So I gotta have like quote unquote healthy chocolate in my life for sure.
Sure, sure. Yeah, I mean, yeah, chocolate is I love chocolate. And when we go to this camp in Colorado that I just got back from a couple of days ago, we have a personal chef for us.
Mm.
And they let us go to Trader Joe's right before we get to the camp because you're not going to eat nothing sweet that whole week. So it's like, whatever you get from Trader Joe's is what you're going to have outside of like, I mean, they make great food though, but we had brisket and meatloaf
Mm.
and chickens and just Euro lamb, like Euro bowls and eggs and I mean yogurts and oatmeal and I never eat so good other than like that week. It is absolutely amazing. My thing is just like for you, like I wonder, like I don't know if I could eat only one meal a day. I feel like I just wouldn't have like I feel like I wouldn't have the energy to do CrossFit and do the other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's a process like anything. So, like I fasted for 4 days, and I'll do that every couple months. I'll do a 3 or 4 day fast. And it's just been a process. So for me, at first it was eliminating breakfast, then it was snacks, then it was late night, then it was just lunch and dinner. And then, I would say just even in the last year, that's where I've gone down to just one meal a day. in James Nestor's book Breathe, he talks about that, how we just like grossly overeat or think we
Mhm.
need to eat so much food as human beings, but in reality we can survive on so much less. And that's what the fasting taught me, is like I can survive and I am okay. I just got to, get through the blood sugar highs and lows, but maybe my body doesn't need all that extra food that I think I need because I'm going to go to the gym, because I've got this, because I've got that. Like I had every excuse in the book of why I needed to eat, and I struggled with weight my entire life. And so this has helped me sort of be in control of that, eat what I want, but just really because some people are like, oh, as long as you eat the right foods, you can eat as much as you want. I don't believe that's true, at least not for a woman in her 50s. That's absolutely not the case. And so I'm just very mindful about what I put in my body. And I've found the strength in the fasting area. Like I PR'd a power clean on the third day, at the end of the third day fast. My
Wow.
coach, and again, it was mindset. My coach was like, you get in there and you PR it. I'm like, I can't. I'm so tired. I'm so weak. It's 3 days I haven't eaten. He's like, shift that mindset and go in there and PR. And I felt inspired and I freaking did it. And that's what made me realize, oh shit, maybe this food thing has been more here in my head than what my body actually needs in order for me to perform mentally or physically.
That's so interesting. Wow. All I can think about is Matt Fraser's first year of competing. And I remember listening to a podcast and he was speaking and he was talking about how he would like eat big Snickers bar after like every workout
Yeah.
and how he would just carb up as much as he could. And he's not like that anymore. He eats so much better now, like as he was saying in that podcast. But it's interesting to think that like a lot of people think I just need to eat, 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 eat.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
I'm feeling tired, eat. I'm feeling depressed, eat. I'm feeling any type of
oh
way, eat. And that's not always the solution.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I also think on in this case of I'm feeling something, let me do something, to feel better. It's for me, like my biggest thing, and I've really had to dial back is the phone. I think it's
Mm,
like one of the greatest, like biggest drugs to ever exist of, oh hey, I'm in my feelings about something. All right, I'm gonna go scroll through TikTok for 2 hours. Now I just watch little videos, little 20-minute clips of everybody else's lives. I've been able to put myself into that where I totally, didn't think about what's going on in my life. And like I think it's crazy and like watching people do that of how long they can go doing that before it's like, whoa, I haven't been able to process anything that's been happening in my life because I've been just scrolling through TikTok for 5 hours a day for five
yeah.
weeks in a row type thing. So yeah.
Oh, 100%. I mean, it can consume your life. Like I have to watch myself because I'll get up in the morning. Okay, emails, agenda. What am I doing today? Oh, I
Mhm.
have a few notifications. And then before you know it, you've just spent an hour. And I'm like, oh my God, now I'm running late because you're right. It just sucks you in and distracts you from what you should be doing or what's important in life. And I agree, and I for the same reasons as you, I have a love hate with social media because I kind of need to see what's going on. Does somebody need me? Is something going on? Is there something
Mhm.
I should be doing? Is there an opportunity? Is there someone that needs help? But then it sucks you in where, maybe that's the first 5 minutes, and now you're spending the next hour looking at everybody else's stuff, which
Mhm.
is how real is that and not? I mean, I do
Right.
love watching good little animal videos. Like I can't stop myself. They make me happy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was just like for me, like I never I if I doom scrolled what we call it for 2 hours, I never felt better after that. I never
Mm,
walked away be like, "Wow, I got something done. I feel great. I feel like I've been productive. I've conquered a day," or like, I never have I like actually felt better. And so now when I scroll, I try to make it like a productive thing. So now I try to see what are the trends out there, what's
mm,
going on, and how can I, use those and apply it to what I do on my page to just try to
mm.
grow my page. So if there's a popular trend going around, how can I use that and intertwine it with adaptive fitness? And because really that's what does the best are trends. People love trends. So if I could, use a trend and then put an adaptive fitness twist on it, and so that's kind of what I've been using my scrolling as for now is trying to pick up little trends and, note, oh, hey, this is doing well. Okay, maybe I should do this. Like, okay, I got to get on this. Got to do it in the next week while it's still trending. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's smart, and that's good if you're able to do that. I wish I was more able to do that. So I just try to, kind of avoid it. I mean, I don't avoid it, and none of us can avoid it. It's just part of our lives. That's why I do kind of, envy our clients because we take away their phones and their ability to have social media the whole time they're with us, and it's fantastic though because that, especially for somebody, and I would assume it's the same for adaptive athletes, you can feel sort of isolated and different from people. And this sort of without the phone forces you to have honest communications, like
Mhm.
community, like actually be in the moment and not somewhere else. It's amazing. I wish we could all do that. Just take away our phones for 2 days and like, let's all really just connect.
Absolutely. So, I want to hear more about what you do with your clients.
Yeah. So when they come in, they go through medical detox, like to get everybody safely off all medications, all drugs, and then they do our program. Hopefully, the majority of them will choose CrossFit as their exercise option, but exercise is mandatory. We do it 5 days a week,
Uh,
and or 6 days. Plus, we have open gym. So that's an essential component of the program. We also really lean into mindfulness and meditations because,
mhm.
especially for people in recovery, what happens when you get a trigger? Well, if you're not, your first instinct is fix it, take something, numb it, do it. But if you can learn to find your breath and breathe through it and be in the present, not worried about here or not trying to mask the uncomfortableness, you can literally get through anything. So mindfulness is a huge part of our program, as well as deep diving traumas. Why did we start using to begin with? Taking responsibility for all of our actions, making amends for all the things that we did, repairing relationships with our families, identifying toxic people in our lives. Yeah, we do a lot. We do a lot in a short amount of time. But again, not having that social media or that piece back to the real world really enables them to cement themselves in the present and be able to look at all that stuff objectively without the outside world influence.
I absolutely love that. That's awesome. Yeah. And it makes them connect more of like, hey, we're all going through this together. And like
Yeah.
we've all got to be here. We've all got to go through this together. None of us, have an idea of what's going on the outside. So let's make what's going on here. I mean, the best we can in this situation. That's super, super cool. I like that you tie the meditation and like the mental part of it because I think it all ties together. Like, your emotional health, your physical health, your mental health, like all three tie together into our being. And so it's super cool that you do that. That is super, super cool.
Well, yeah, because you can't just fix one thing and expect all areas of your life to be fixed. You've really got to work on
Mhm.
the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual part of it. I mean,
Absolutely.
I'm not saying you can be an atheist, of course, but there is typically the majority of people come through. No, there probably is some type of higher power. And whatever that is for you. Like we're not trying to force, like, you got to believe in Jesus or God or Buddha or whatever. It's like whatever it is for you. I mean, you could believe, I don't believe in any of that, but I believe in these animals. They're the ones that are getting me through. It's like, cool, let that be your spirituality, whatever that looks like for you. Because, again, we try to just make things as inclusive for everybody, as opposed to you have to subscribe to this specific thinking in order to overcome an addiction or be sober. And that's not the case. It's what's true for you is true. So it's different for everybody.
That's so, so cool. That is wow. I absolutely love the work you do.
Oh, thank you. Well, same.
It's super cool.
Has spirituality or religion been big in your life?
1000%. Yeah, 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 yeah. So I'm a Christian, and I mean, it's the idea of there's a saying, there's no atheist in a foxhole. And for me, I mean, when I realized like I wasn't going to be able to walk for 6 months, I was going to have these surgeries and all this stuff. Like, I was like, God, like, why? Like, why? And just like so down. And, I couldn't imagine life with not being able to walk on my two prosthetics. And it was like in that moment And before that, I had just climbed the mountain in Colorado. And so
Mm.
here I am, like up top thinking like, yeah, like I'm like, yes, how do I do this again? And then all of a sudden, oh, hey, by the way, you're not going to do this again, at least on, for the next 6 months, because you're going to have surgery and all this stuff. And so it was like that moment where I was like, God, why did you just give me that? And then just like strip it away. But I think, I mean, I had a lot of pride when he gave me that too, when that mountain came to be. And that's where we were talking in more beginning of the call, when I had that shift of like, not really about proving people wrong now, more about like trying to help and serve other people. And that shift came like with my spirituality and with putting my faith in God. And so, yeah, it absolutely, and it was one of those where I was like, I have nowhere else to go. So I'm going to go to you because I have no idea why this is happening to me. And like now looking, this was a year and a half ago, 2 years ago almost. Now looking almost 2 years later, I'm like, oh, wow, like I get it. From that has come all of this, has come the adaptive athlete experience, has, me started coaching adaptive athletes at my gym, has started like me on social media trying to help as many people as I can and just create, the happy, knowledgeable content that I try to do. And it's all just came from, being in that low moment. And so, yeah, definitely definitely spiritual.
I love that. And it sounded like you had to full surrender in
Absolutely.
order to get there. You couldn't fight it. You couldn't force it. You couldn't be the victim of it. You just had to say, okay, God, you have a bigger plan for me here. What is it?
That's exactly it was yeah, like truly like on my knees in my room in tears being like, I don't get it, but
Yeah.
whatever you're doing, like I'm gonna trust you because that's all I have left. Because obviously it's not going my way.
Right. Well, and I think it's interesting, and you are a prime example of this. I think some people feel like, oh, I overcame that adversity. I'm good for the rest of my life. It's like, no, that was just phase one. You've
Right.
got
Yeah.
so many other things of adversity that you're going to have to overcome, or, well, you don't have to. I'm not saying everybody has to do that. At least that's been my experience. Like, okay, that was one. Here's another. Here's another. Here's another. And it's all in the name of personal growth, overcoming, and putting us on a path. Maybe we were getting a little off of it and it puts us where we're supposed to be. It feels like there's like a bigger plan, and basking in like our glory doesn't last very long, because then it's like, okay, now here's your next one.
Right, right. And honestly, like, as much as I hate to admit it, I did because growing up, when I would do stuff with my prosthetic legs, people would be like, wow, like, look at you. Like, and it would be like a lot of like, always like, she doesn't have legs and she just rode a bike. She doesn't have legs and she just rode a ripstick. You're so amazing. You're so inspirational. And it gets to
Yeah.
your head, especially like as a young kid, like it got to my head so much, especially like when I climbed the mountain in Colorado. Wow, people with legs aren't even doing that. That was the biggest one that I would hear that would really get to my head. And
Yeah.
so it really did take like that knockdown for me to be like, oh, whoa, like this isn't about me. Like it's not about Elina and about Elina's glory. And so, yeah, 1000%. You sitting basking in that glory, no good.
Yeah, the glory, the pride. It's like, okay, yeah, it was nice, enjoy, but now let's do this. And I love how you've leaned into, and a lot of people like who go through my program, my staff, that adversity then becomes the beacon of being in service to others who were once like you. And then, like for
Mhm.
me, a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, you were an addict at such a young age. I feel bad for you. And I'm like, why? It put me on my path of being of service to others and being able to help others. Like it was the best thing that ever happened. And it didn't happen to me, I did it to myself. But at the same time, like it was the best thing that happened because it gave me my purpose. It gave me where I need to go. It provided so other people could be of service of people that are just like us. And that is 100% you, because now you're of service to people that are like you. You're leading from the front, and there's nothing more powerful than that.
1000%. Absolutely. And I mean, the work you do is with the addiction and like the recovery and all of that stuff. When I see like this work with like fitness combined with like recovery from addiction, I absolutely love it. The Phoenix program, I'm sure you probably heard of, they do something like so similar. And we have at our gym, we've opened up our gym to the Phoenix program, and we have people who were alcoholics or who were addicted to whatever it may be come into our gym and use fitness as like, I don't, almost like replace it with fitness. And it's been super super cool to watch. And so yeah, I definitely like love all of it. It's super cool.
Well, and again, it's very similar to what you're going through because there's a million rehabs out there that will say, "Oh, you're a victim. Okay, let's give up the heroin. We're going to put you on 5 different prescriptions. Like, then at least you're not a heroin addict." But then they're just replacing one thing with the other. That's not going to put them in a better place. It's just going to cement them in that victim, this is me for the rest of my life kind of label. Whereas fitness, and like people will say that, well, isn't CrossFit like a cult and isn't it addictive? It's like, would you rather your kid be addicted to fitness and CrossFit than heroin? I'm pretty sure the answer
Right.
would be yes to that. So, what's the
Ab-
worst thing that's going to happen?
right. 1000%. 1000%. I think, yeah, yeah. And I think like these recoveries in like recovery centers or rehabs, I think I think it's important that they start to go more towards fitness and more towards like your whole well-being. And I think it'll help a lot of people. And I've watched it help a lot of people at my gym, and it's been super, super cool.
Oh, so you've witnessed that even where you're at and being able to see people come in and overcome. I mean, because I hear the stories all the time, which is amazing to me. Because we'll send people who graduate our program back out to CrossFit gyms,
Yeah.
because before they even leave, it's part of their exit plan, and we connect them with whatever gym they're going, whatever town they're going to. We find a good gym for them so that they can just continue on their journey. Because what we've seen is a lot of people who, not a lot of people, but some people who really liked CrossFit during the program. They go back home, they do it a little bit. And then once that exercise falls off, that community, that group, that accountability, it can lead to relapse. And a lot of people that have come back to us said, "Oh, shoot, this is where I really screwed up, is because I kind of had I'm fixed and got a little complacent." And they took out that community and that working on themselves piece, and it led them back to relapse again.
Yeah, I could totally see that. It's you have all of these tools in rehab, and and if you leave rehab and you lose those tools, I mean, it's not bound to go well. So I think that's super cool to do that, to like set them up with a gym to make sure that they continue, what what they got from, from you, make sure that they continue that leaving because I feel like that totally relapse is totally something that could happen if not. So, yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel like with your CrossFit journey, you're just beginning and you're going to continue to get better? Or do you feel like you peaked and now you're just hoping to maintain?
So,
Because you're young. So I feel like
yeah.
you've got a lot ahead of you.
Yeah, so fitness wise, like actual like in the in both realms, honestly, I feel so for coaching, for sure, I think I can get better. I mean, I only have my L1. I can at
Mm,
least go get my L2, my L3, like L4, I can so I can always grow in that. And then yeah, athletically, especially like with me only being 21, I definitely think that um I can totally get so much better there too. And I don't think I've peaked yet. But on the other hand of that too is I I got out of such like a hard competition mindset. Like when I first learned what CrossFit was and learned about the adaptive games, I was like, I'm gonna be the fittest on earth. I'm gonna compete. I'm gonna be the fittest on earth. All this stuff. And then but that was way before any of the coaching. And then when I got into coaching side of things, I fell in love with coaching so much that
mm.
like the competition started being super, super quiet and it wasn't as like a big of a deal. I would still love to, do the open, do semis, make it to the games. I want to do all of that, but my most of me will always be poured into coaching and the adaptive athlete experience seminar than actual like competition. Now, will I always stay in the gym 5 6 days a week? Absolutely. I think if I want to coach it, I've got to be doing it myself. So
Yeah.
I will always, be working on my fitness. And so I guess in that case, yeah, it's bound to, probably go up, given, how young I am. There's so much more that could, that I feels like in store. But really what I'm really excited for to like get more towards the peak with is really the coaching and the seminar.
Oh, I love that. And again, that's just a being of service to others, which is, I know for myself, between the counseling and the coaching, I get a lot of times more out of being able to help others and watch them have that light bulb moment or have that PR or have that like, aha or that relief or that release. Like there's so much more I get out of helping others with that than I do out of, giving it to myself more or less.
Sure, sure. And it was only because I had such great mentors that gave it to me that I'm
Mhm.
like, I'm always on like a chase of how can I do back what they've given to me. And and there was this quote that I read, and it's like kind of cringy, but it said like, my job as a coach isn't to show you my superpower, it's to show you your superpower. And I,
Oh.
whoa, like that was a light bulb for me. I was like, whoa. So it's
You're so funny. Cringy. I love that. I didn't feel like it was cringy at all. I'm like, what do you mean? That's great.
it's yeah,
I'm just being a Gen Xer over here. Like, I was
yeah.
about to say boomer, but April always corrects me. She's like, we're not boomers. We're Gen Xers. I'm like, okay, you're right. I got to get that one right.
Yes, yes, yes. Not boomers. Nope.
Not that there's anything wrong with boomers, but that's not my generation.
Does April do CrossFit?
Uh, she has not been joining me for CrossFit. She's been getting her daughter through high school and off to college. And as soon as she has her girl off to college, I'm forcing her back in the gym with me to let's do some CrossFit for sure.
Absolutely. So you own a gym
In the facility, yeah. So,
in the
Elevate Addiction Services is in Santa Cruz. We have 30 acres, and in the facility we have a CrossFit gym. So that's CrossFit EAS. Up in South Lake Tahoe, we have a second facility, and we have a partnership with CrossFit South Lake Tahoe, where we'll take our clients and staff there a couple times a week, and because we don't have the space for a big gym there, so we utilize CrossFit in both locations in different ways.
That is absolutely so cool. I'm just thinking about like your journey that like brought you to opening up such like two different gyms, a facility, and like it being successful and helping so many people. Like I'm just thinking about your journey to get there, because obviously like my journey to just get to this 90-minute seminar that has only come up in the last year. Like and I think my journey is quite a bit. I can't even imagine like your journey to get there. I think it's so like I think it's so
Yeah. Yeah, my journey's been 31 years, so there's been a lot of journeying in that amount of time for sure.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's
But again, it's been my passion and purpose. Like I feel so fortunate that I found it at your age. I think I was 22 when I went into rehab, and I've never left. And so I just feel again very fortunate that I've had the people around me, the support, the group, the same like-mindedness that we've been able to create and help more people and more people, and then continue to innovate and grow. Like, because you can't stay still. Nothing stays the same. So you got to constantly be innovating, and what else can we do, and how else can we help, and where are we at in the world today? Like let's appeal to that, let's lean into that. And for me, the whole point of going rogue is also doing it differently. Just like you, it's doing it differently than what society or the majority world thinks you can or should be doing. It's showing that there is other ways, and you can be successful and happy from being outside the box, not just following what everybody else is doing.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think this podcast is great. And I also think like you said like something about you said like the passion. I had a college professor tell me what I said to the class. She said passion is pain is the way she said it. And
Mhm.
basically like meaning that like for you to get to your passion, you probably got to go through some pain.
Yeah.
I think like we can both, you know, we're alike in that way, right? Of like
Yeah.
we went through some, something hard, but now we have this passion that, hopefully is helping people go through something a little less hard. And so it's pretty cool.
Absolutely. Well, when it lights that, you stay willing to do whatever it is you have to do to continue that passion. Whereas a lot of people would quit because it gets hard, it gets difficult, the trouble seems more than it's worth, the adversity is hard to overcome. It's just like, okay, that might all be true, but this is my passion. So I am just going to keep going forward no matter what, because to stay in this industry or do what I'm doing for 31 years, I have to really freaking love what I'm doing in order to keep doing it because of all the things. And the same is going to be true with you, because your passion is so ignited. No matter what comes your way, you're going to stay the path, you're going to stay the course, because it's that important to you and you are making that big of a difference that there's literally no bigger purpose in the world than you doing what you're doing because of the help that you're able to give others.
I would agree. Yeah. Yeah. That was, I mean, that was awesome to hear because I know that there are going to be moments where I'm going to be like, oh, what's the point? Like, this is tough, whatever. And so, I mean, yeah, I've had like, you know, I've had, I've gone into gyms when I first started a seminar where I pitched to them like, hey, this is a seminar. There's a gym right down the road. I go to her. I'm like, hey, this is a seminar. I would love to bring this, to your gym, to your instructors, whatever. And I asked her, I said, how many instructors do you have? And she's like, we have 20. And I'm like, oh, this is great. And she was like, well, they don't need it. She's like, she's like, I thought you were going to like bring people to my gym. So she wanted me to like bring outside people into her gym for the seminar, people who have never been to her gym. And I was like, oh, like, no, like my, no, like, that's not what this is about. It's giving the knowledge to your instructors. And at this
Yeah.
point, I didn't even have a price on it. Like, it was like, we could have made it as cheap as we could. This was the very beginning of it. And so, yeah. So I've had those moments where I'm like, oh, like that was tough. Like, I mean, for your pride, for your ego, for whatever, like you think you're doing a good thing. And then like people want to, kind of take advantage of it or use it a different way.
Yep.
And that's where I learned, like, I'm like, okay, moving forward. If me and another human, whoever, don't share the same vision,
Mhm.
we're just gonna, just stop it. There's no point to, if we're not gonna share the same vision, all right, move on to the next. Find somebody who does have a similar vision to you.
Yeah. I mean, and that's like valuable insight to have, especially at your age, because yeah, if you're not aligned, then you're trying to force it and it's never going to work. No matter how good your energy is, it's going to be tainted by this person who's, more looking to self-serve as opposed to
Right.
serve the community and the people.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I mean, I had another gym shut me down at first. And then months later, so that I probably had only done maybe 3 seminars at the time that I approached them.
Mhm.
Months later, now I'm more, 12 seminars in. They've seen that I've done it all over the area and they reach out to me and they want the seminar now.
Yeah.
And it was one of those where I'm like, like, okay, like, because when they first shut me down, I was like, dang, like that stung. But then months later, they come back because now they're seeing like, oh wow, like this is actually something. Oh wow, we need to hop on this train. All the other gyms in the area are doing it.
There
So
you go, girl. That's when it's the best. It's like,
yeah,
okay, you're right. All right, I'll come into your gym now.
right.
And there again, there's no ego about it. It's just
No,
awesome that they finally came around to it, and their ego wasn't big enough to say, I shot her down. I'm not going back. They're like, actually, this is pretty sweet. Let's do it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, and I have like people, like some people that I've told, and they're like, "Well, you're not gonna go do it for them, are you?" And I'm like, "Of course I'm gonna go do it for them." I'm like, because it's not about our egos, our prides, or nothing
Mhm.
like that. It's about giving this knowledge to their coaches, to their members, and whoever can learn. And like, obviously, I'm biased, but I think benefit from it. So of course I'm gonna go. Yeah, I don't care that they shut me down months ago. It's still
Yeah.
gonna help people.
Absolutely. And sometimes it just takes people a while. I mean, we'll have people go through the program, they'll leave, they'll badmouth us, and then they have a relapse or something, and then their pride and ego is like, "Ooh, I don't think they're going to want me back or take me back." And we are always open armed. We're like, "We get it. You just weren't ready yet. Maybe now you are, or we're seeing actually now you are, and we welcome back with open arms because, sometimes it's all about timing and timing wise, it's not always the right time."
Hmm. Hmm. I
Yeah.
would I would absolutely love to come see your facility one day. You said it's in Santa Cruz.
Yeah, where are you located?
I'm in Detroit, Michigan.
Ooh, girl.
A little bit of a,
Yes.
but if I'm ever like in that area, I absolutely would love to see your facility and stuff. Do you guys ever have outside people come in?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've had Dr. Rob. I've had a lot of people come out. My favorite thing to do is invite people up on a Friday because that's when we have our fitness comps. We work out with the clients and compete together, and the other clients are judging and watching. It's like it's a group activity that we do. And then it rolls straight into our graduation. So then you get to see the products of the program and what people are getting at it from different phases. So absolutely would love to have you out, would love to have you come view the facility. We could do a podcast in person in this room, which would be awesome. I would love to have you speak with my coaches and even our clients, and give your seminar out here, because
That's what I
again,
would.
everybody could get something out of that. I would love to facilitate that in any way I could.
Yes, I would absolutely like that's exactly what I was thinking. Like, I think it would be so, so cool to, and I didn't even think about like your coaches. I'm obviously you probably have coaches if you're, bringing fitness to these folks.
Yeah.
So, but I was thinking of like all of your clients, and I'm like, wow, it'd be so cool to like give them, because it's still fitness. Like, this adaptive seminar is hands on. They are working the whole time. Like, it's super hands on, and we have a mini workout at the end. So, but it would be so cool to come bring like an adaptive workout to them and give them something
Oh
different
yeah.
and like stuff like that. So that would be so cool. I would love to like work on that and make that happen.
Absolutely. Well, let's stay in touch. And anytime you know you're coming to California, let's connect and we'll figure out getting you here and having you up there and doing the seminar and just helping more people, sort of combining our forces to help more in any way that we can.
Yeah, I think that would be super, super cool. Because I mean, you have your clients. If they're under your hands, I fully trust that if they injure themselves, you'll keep them in the gym. But let's say they leave you and they injure themselves. I mean, let's hope that they would still stay, because obviously, like, the fitness is really a huge part of recovery, and so I would really hope that they would still stay in the gym if they broke an arm. Let's say 2 weeks out of your program, they break an
Yeah.
arm. I hope they stay in the gym.
Absolutely. Well, and that's what we try to teach them is mindset and overcoming adversity and just keep moving forward, because if you're not moving forward, you're sliding back down. So whatever that looks like, you've got to figure out ways to keep moving forward.
Have you ever written a book?
I started one a couple of years ago and then life got a little busy and it's definitely on my list of things I would love to be able to do. Yes.
Yes, I would be so intrigued to like read a book that you would write.
Thank you. And same, have you?
I have not. I've been told that I should. I
Absolutely.
I feel like I feel like I still have so much more to go before I write a book. I mean, I could get it started for sure though, but
Yeah.
I have so much more to go. I do feel like for the seminar, this is just the beginning. We're only a year in. And so
Yeah.
I I really want to see like what it looks like in 5 years.
Yeah, you could have a major movement. Like it's going to be amazing. Just be journaling, taking notes, like
Yeah.
as you're going through these experiences. Like I recently found in my gym my journal from when I entered rehab 31 years ago. And
Oh,
I'm like, no way. And it's almost the exact time of year. And so it's been so amazing for me. And I'm being real disciplined. I'm just reading like one chapter a day. But I'm like, where was my mindset? Who was I back then? And it's amazing to me to see what my mindset was, how much I'm still the same person, but also how much I've also changed, and then how much of it has been foreshadowing of where I am today. Like that has been
wow.
the coolest part about it, is just randomly writing stuff and seeing how that's become so relevant in my life today. It's been absolutely amazing. So please journal, because you are going to, especially when you get into writing that book and you have multiple, I predict you're going to have multiple books. You're going to love that insight back to your mindset right now.
You've inspired me to do that. I think I will. Yeah, absolutely. I
Awesome.
definitely get on that. Super.
Cool. So tell our listeners where they can find you, how they can support you, how they can try to hopefully get to one of your seminars.
Yeah, so um I I have two Instagrams. I have one, it's called Adaptive Elina. So adaptive and then Elina, Elina. And on there I post a crap ton of adaptive fitness. Just a lot of, this is how you do this, this is how you do this. Look at my adaptive athlete doing this. Look at whatever. And then I have another Instagram for the adaptive athlete experience. It's just the handle is just adaptive athlete experience. And on there we post the seminars we do, content from all of our seminars, and then we also will post like upcoming seminars as well.
Mm.
So if somebody is interested and they see, oh wow, hey, like a seminar is going to be only an hour away from me, that's a great way to tell, because about a month before I'll post, okay, here's all the seminars in the next month, letting people know. So I think that's the two greatest ways to stay in touch. And then also, I mean, anybody who like wants to reach out if they have any questions regarding anything, I'm huge on, checking DMs, checking emails and responding and, being there for people in that way. So I have an email, just adaptiveelina@gmail.com, or you can just DM me on Instagram and I will also respond there too, for any questions or anything, any way I can help.
I love that. I know I'll be reaching out if I happen to have a client or athlete with some type of thing that I'm not quite sure how to modify or how to help them with or how to best assist them. I am going to be hitting up your DMs because you are so knowledgeable about that kind of stuff. And I'm kind of winging it to some degree, safely so, but I feel like I could probably push them a little harder than I do because I lack that experience. And I would love to come take one of your seminars just so that I'm a better coach so that I could be of better service to others and help push them a little harder than I probably do because I'm not feeling so knowledgeable in the field.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, but you're already doing the first step of like, you're trying, you're putting yourself out there, and you're already doing the first step of like admitting, hey, by the way, I don't know everything, but I want to help you. And I mean, that's what I tell, people ask at my seminar to be like, so what if an adaptive athlete walks in the gym tomorrow? Like, what do I do? And I'm like, just like, like want to work with them and admit that, hey, you're not going to know everything, and work together. And I always tell everyone at my seminars, I still don't know everything. Like you said, I'm so knowledgeable. And I mean, I know some things, I know enough to help people, but there's so much more I could know to continue to help people. And so on my end, I try to, I just got the book, what is it? Like the deaf leopard, something about
Supple
like,
leopard.
yes, 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 yes.
Yeah.
And so I'm so excited to like dive into that and learn more about like injury and shoulder health and like, keeping all of that healthy as well, and hopefully incorporating that into the seminar in the future. So I myself don't know everything, but it's just that like step of admitting it and still having the courage to work with somebody with something going on.
Absolutely. I love how you almost called it Def Leppard there.
I,
Like, yes,
yeah,
rock and roll.
yeah, that's rocking. I know, literally. I was like, oh, I know how.
You have been absolutely amazing. I am so grateful that you came on this show, and whatever I can assist you with and help you with, please feel free to reach out. I've been there and done that with a lot of stuff. And if I could be of assistance to you in any way, please let's stay in contact. And then of course, if we can get you out here to California, I would love to have you up here, work with our clients, work with our staff in all the different ways, and just show you some love as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, I definitely want to stay in touch, and yeah, reach out to me whenever for anything, and hopefully I'll see you in California.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you so much, Elina. You've been absolutely amazing.
Thank you so much, Angie.
All right. Have a great day.
You as well.
Bye.